Our first special guests are from the Multicultural Resource Center. We have the Executive Director, Joel Tazinski, and the Associate Director, Joanna Cherpak. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Brenda.
And we are always happy with the great melting pot that we have right here culturally in Erie to let everyone know what's going on there and where you began at the Multicultural Center.
Yes, we were initially started in 1975, and our name back then was the Hispanic American Council, and we primarily served Hispanic individuals. And in those days, it was more of a center. People would come to learn the language of English, but they would also come to celebrate Spanish events. So they had festivals, activities. They had a library, actually, with Spanish books in it. It was very culturally oriented. However, as the years went by, there was less and less money available to the federal or state governments, and we began serving the refugee population because they needed the same things that the Hispanics needed. They needed to learn the language. They needed to figure out how to get around in Erie, how to access services. And as we were doing those things already, it was a natural fit to begin doing that with the refugees coming into Erie.
The refugee population, although they do get assistance through the government, through you, it is limited assistance.
Correct. They come in through two resettlement agencies, which is Catholic Charities and the International Institute, and they take care of them for the first year of their existence in the United States, and then they come to us, and then we help them up till the 5-year point. Well, we're funded, I should say, up to their 5-year point. We always help them many years afterwards. But what we try to do in that time period is create self-sufficiency for them. Help them get jobs, help them get homes, help them get driver's license, help them become American citizens.
Right, and we should mention, first of all of us in Erie came from somewhere else.
Yes, we did.
Yes, and everyone had community here to help them. And the refugees especially would love to be in their country. Sadly,
yes,
there are horrible things going on in their country. And they come here many times as professionals, and they want to be citizens that are productive in our society.
What you highlighted is very true. All of us came from different countries, and my grandparents on both sides came from Poland. They came here, and they did have some community to relate to and to help them. But the new refugees coming, it's a totally different group of people, a foreign group of people. Erie has grown up with the Polish and the German and the Irish and all other types of people, as you know, from different cultures. But now we're getting people from the Middle East. We're getting people from Vietnam, Africa, people with different faces, maybe many times different colored skins, different religions. And as they come into this community, it's very difficult, I think, for them particularly to relate to some of the American culture and values. And I think Erie has had a difficult time sometimes integrating the new populations into the community. And I think we try to tell people to step back and look at your own heritage. Look at where your grandparents, your great-grandparents came from. They all came here seeking a new start, a new opportunity to live free, to worship how they wish. The country itself was founded on religious freedom. And I think that the current need for people in the world is so tremendous, and Erie has played such a significant role in these last few years trying to help the really United States humanitarian mission to resettle people from other countries who are in fear for their lives, who have been displaced, who can never return home. And so it's hard to make that transition from where you came from with all your friends, your homeland, to Erie. But I think of all the places to land, they're very, very fortunate to land in Erie.
And because you've been doing this now for many years, hasn't it been so wonderful to see how they've grown and blossomed?
Yes, I think one group in particular I would highlight would be the Bosnians who came to Erie. They've been here about 10 or 15 years now, and they have really blossomed as a community. Many of them were Muslim, although there were some Christian Bosnians. They've gone on to purchase houses. They built their own mosque.
Further their educations.
They're interested in educating their children because it's interesting when you bring your small children from another country, they don't bring necessarily that language, that culture. If the parents don't teach it to them, they never learn that. And that really struck home with me because, as I said, both sets of grandparents came from Poland. But my parents never taught me to speak Polish. We never celebrated any of the Polish holidays. And so the only thing about me that's Polish is my last name.
Right.
And sometimes I say darn it Why?
It's true.
Why didn't you teach me these things?
Right. The mindset at the time was we're going to America. We're Americans now.
Yes.
And now as we've evolved, we realize, yes, it's great to start fresh and anew and have a new life, but let's not forget our history. So
Yes.
all of us should embrace that, because how many of us have gone back and tried to bring back some of that history?
I think older generations were persecuted too for their heritage. So when they came to the United States, they kind of wanted to forget about it. I'm an American now. I don't need to do that. And now these younger generations coming from other cultures, they don't want to lose that, which
Right.
is wonderful, which is what our grandparents should have done.
Right.
But it was a different time period. It was the world wars, and we don't know exactly all that went on. So it's different, and we're more accepting. And as Americans, we want to learn more about these people.
Absolutely. And as we were saying, even though you may long for your country, you also embrace your new country. So it's not to say that just because you want to hold on to the traditions of your past, that you don't embrace and excel here. And that is what you are here to do. Now, you do that in many ways. You have a lot of programs that will assist. And actually, we need more of the community's help to get these programs flourishing, right?
Yes, we definitely do. This past December, we were fortunate enough to purchase the church next door to our building, the former 10th Street Methodist Church. And that building has a gymnasium, a licensed kitchen, a big community room, and office space. And so we've been very fortunate to be able to start some new programs that hadn't existed in the past. And we're using that new building as an opportunity for us to grow the agency. We are looking to even start a coffee shop. We've applied for several grants to redo the kitchen. We're hoping to refurbish. There's a stage there. We're working with the Erie Playhouse to try to apply for a grant to the Erie Community Foundation so that we can do performances there. And the Playhouse even expressed interest in a possible dinner theater. And we were very, very excited by that opportunity. So there are many things going on now, and I think there's going to be many more added as we move forward. One of the latest programs we added was a wellness center. And this was a program we started with a grant from the United Way, and it's actually housed in our main campus at 554 East 10th Street, the former Penn School building, which I attended, I must add. And the wellness center was specifically set up because we realized the foreign-speaking individuals, the refugees who come, many of them have no idea what wellness is. They have no idea what nutrition is. They come from countries where health care was not a priority, where getting old was not something to extend your life. It was to deal with the reality and end-of-life issues. Well, when you come to America, we have all this emphasis now on wellness and activities and movement and diet and exercise. And unfortunately, they look healthy, but really they're malnourished.
Right.
They haven't had the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we know as Americans are so important. The Wellness Center was created to help screen them for various disorders, to help educate them about the things that we in America take for granted, to schedule them for medical appointments if they're needed, to follow up. And it's very challenging, and I enjoy the work. I've been with the organization for 10 years, and I'm looking forward to retiring here the end of August.
And happy birthday today while you say that,
Well,
because
thank
it's
you
a
so much.
celebration. We appreciate you coming in on your birthday.
Yes, no problem. It's my pleasure. And Joanna Cherpak, who's with us today, she's going to be taking over. She's going to be named as the acting executive director. I will stay on board for a part-time basis until December to help her make the transition. And I think that it's going to be even more and more wonderful possibilities coming to the MCRC.
Oh, my gosh. Well, all the best to you, Joel, when it is time for you to step down. And congratulations to you,
Thank
Joanna,
you.
in advance. We're going to take a quick break, but we will come back and talk about how other people in our community can get involved through volunteering and through a great event that you have coming up in the very near future when we return with the executive director for a little while longer, Joel Tazinski, and the associate director, Joanna Cherpak, from the Multicultural Resource Center on North Coast Views. We're back with our special guests from the Multicultural Resource Center, the Executive Director, Joel Tazinski, the Associate Director, Joanna Cherpak, and we're talking about some of the challenges in coming to our country from another area, but also once you get here, the challenges of you as the Multicultural Center trying to help people who don't even realize how much help they actually need. You have to get people up on their feet and running pretty darn quickly, isn't that true?
Correct. And within an 8-month period of time is usually what they want us to do. They will get some assistance, but but 8 months period of time is enough time for us to get them assimilated into the things they need, possibly getting them a job, getting them the English they need to get the job, get them in a home. Yeah, it's not a forever thing, and it's not long term. That's not the goal. I mean, they're coming to this country to be active participants, citizens eventually, so that's what we want to do. We try to fast track them the best we can.
And talk about fast track. 8 months. From what languages are we talking about now?
Yes.
Oh, the Bhutanese language, the Nepali language, the Africans, the Europeans.
Nothing at all like English. So these are people who have other medical issues and don't even speak the language, and they have 8 months to get on their feet and off of any financial help. So it says a lot.
Brenda, I wanted to mention, too, you said the funding situation for MCRC. The International Institute and Catholic Charities, when they bring people here, are funded on a per capita basis. So with each one that arrives, there's an allocation that goes to help them set them up and help them to get a fresh start. When they're referred to our agency, we're on a program funded basis. We have a grant from the state with a finite amount of dollars. So whether you serve 10 people or 1,000 people, that's all the money you're going to get.
Wow.
And what's hard for us is that when they're here 5 years, there continues to be new arrivals every year. There's around 700 or 800 coming from the Refugee Direct Resettlement Program, but there's another 200 or so who come what's called second migration, people who are resettled in other cities, who then come to Erie to be with their friends, relatives, etc. Those people keep coming, so 1,000 a year times 5 years, there's a lot of folks coming.
Right.
Not all of them are seen because some of them get on their feet very fast, but we see a majority of those people. And being program funded, we always have more work than we can handle, more requests for services, and not necessarily the resources to provide everything that's needed. We get, as I said, funding from the state. We get funding through various grants. So we pick up programs along the way that will help our bottom line, but also offer more services to the community.
Sure.
But in that process, it's very difficult to juggle, as I said, the request for service and the realities of how much money you have to provide those services.
Right.
So I think there's been some changes with the funding as well along the years, but our approach at MCRC has been to focus on our fee-for-service programs, interpreting services, translation services. We recently started a diversity training program where we are going into businesses and districts and agencies to talk about the diversity in our world and to educate people to value diversity. So we've gone to fee-for-services, which is really the only way we've been able to survive a lot of the pressures coming down financially. Our daycare program is a fee-for-service program, but it is funded through the Office of Children and Youth, through the CCIS program for people with low income. It's free daycare for them. But those programs go up and down, and the money goes up and down, and so we're continually worried about, are we going to have enough for payroll? Are we going to have enough to pay the utility bills? We have small reserves, very small, but the other fee-for-service program was Mosaico that we started, and that's a temporary employment agency. And we said to ourselves, why go out and just being another one with your hand out on the corner? We want to earn our money. So we started this temporary employment agency, and it has been slow in taking off. But at our high point, we've had 100 employees working for us, placed throughout the city with various businesses. And as a temp agency, there's a fee that's paid to the agency for every person that we place in their business. Although we've been in existence for almost 6 years now, our problem has been getting into the door and to competing with some of the larger temp agencies, temp to hires.
But this is a temp agency that doesn't just put the people that you serve. It's anyone in our community that is looking for work. You'll help them find work.
Yes, we'll take anyone from the community who's interested in employment. So we're always trying to get the word out to new employers. Give us a try. Particularly if you hire entry-level people into your business. We provide value-added services, and our goal is to find permanent employment for people. Plus, all the revenue, the profits from the agency, from Mosaico, come back to MCRC
Wonderful.
To help finance our program.
Sure. And so you already have had great success with this. So you have seen it work and work well.
Yes, we have, definitely.
Okay, so if you would like more information about this, is it on your website?
Yes, definitely it is.
www.multiculturalcrc.org.
multiculturalcrc.org, or you can Google
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
the Multicultural
Google.
Resource Center.
Yes, we're on Facebook and Twitter, too.
We're on YouTube,
See?
too. You can go to YouTube. There's videos about us on there. So.
See, you keep your finger
Yeah.
on the pulse. That's great to hear. So you have to find other ways to raise money, and this is one way, your services for hire. Great. And then you have other fun fundraisers as well. And you have a golf outing that's coming right up.
We do on September 5th. It'll be at Lakeshore Country Club. It's our second golf tournament. Our first one last year was hugely successful, so we decided we'll do this again.
Great.
The title of the golf tournament is Hitting the Cultural Links. We have golfers actually coming in from Dallas, Texas, and down in Tennessee that golfed last year that happened to be clients of one of our board members. They came up, they were so thrilled with Erie and so thrilled with what we do as an organization that they've agreed to come back and golf again this year.
Oh, that's great.
Right.
So it's not too late to get involved with that.
Not at all. We have sponsorships available if there's companies or private people who actually want to sponsor. We have different levels. Registration is still open for golfers. It's $100, which includes 18 holes of golf at Lakeshore Country Club, includes a cart. You get lunch and you get a steak dinner.
And you can write it off.
Yes.
So it's all a benefit, and
Right.
it helps a wonderful cause. So it's a win-win-win.
Correct.
Okay, great. So these details are also on your website.
They are. And they're also on our Facebook page. We also need volunteers to help with many events, not just a golf tournament. We have other events throughout the year that we could use volunteers. We need volunteers in the building to do maintenance work. I mean, there is a vista of things that people could do to help us out. So they would just need to call and say they'd like to volunteer, and we'll talk with them and see, what kind of a fit works.
For example, we teach adult students how to speak English, so that we always need people who they can practice with.
Right.
Whether it's one-on-one or in a group. The teachers, when we're having formal classes, could use teacher assistants who would walk around and help individual students.
We do have an after-school program, too, in our daycare. That'll start back up when the kids are back in school at the end of August. And these children always need help with homework.
Okay.
Math seems to be a big area that they struggle with, and even just, reading. So that's always good for high school students and for college kids that want to come and help these kids get through their homework.
Okay, so the first and best place to go is, again, online to your website.
Yes.
Multicultural.
CRC.org.
Brenda, I'd like to add one more thing before we come to a close here. The agency has been a provider in the state of Pennsylvania in refugee services since 1998. And in 2009, I believe it was, we changed our name to the Multicultural Community Resource Center. But the point I want to make is that we do try to provide excellent services, and the state recognizes our role in this. This June, there was a statewide convention of all the refugee providers, and our agency received the Provider of the Year award.
Oh, congratulations.
And I'm glad to say that was not the first time. We also got it 2 years ago.
Wonderful.
So we strive to do the best services, to be a model community for the rest of the state and even nationally. Our programs are innovative, they're well received, they're effective, and I'm so proud to be associated with the organization that it's going to be difficult to step down at the end of the month without wanting to keep my hand in the pie.
Oh, your hand's going to be in the pie. Don't you worry. They won't let you go. Don't you worry about that.
That is the truth.
Yes, you have to keep helping out with everyone. But we thank you both for all of your hard work, and we thank you for coming in and sharing the information with us. Remember, if you're able to volunteer or if you'd like to be a part of the golf outing, that is September 5th. Please contact the Multicultural Center. And thank you again to the Executive Director of the Multicultural Resource Center, Joel Tazinski, the Associate Director, Joanna Churpak, for coming to North Coast Views.
Thank you,
Thank you, Brenda.